Hello YouTube, so I do another video here. I apologize, it just ain't the normal way I do videos, but sometimes it's just easier to grab a camera and quickly shoot the video than move everything to the bench and reset things up, and sometimes you just gotta do it this way. I will try my best not to have the camera be too shaky. So in today's video, well, first off, if you've been following my YouTube channel, I designed a interface board for handhelds, and that would let you plug in a handheld into this interface board, and you could get that handheld to have date, time, Zello, weather announcements, repeater ID, without using VOX and no radio modifications. Plug and play. And theoretically, I'm hoping to work with most handhelds out there. So that's how this little project started out to be. I did a video on it. I was testing some of the things, and I did a video on it. And then I got done doing the video, and then a few days later I thought, well, what if I added circuitry so I could hook up one mobile radio? That'd be kind of cool. So then I, of course, did that and did another video on that. And then after I got done with that video, and then now I thought, well, what about if I use two radios and have a full repeater? That'd be really neat. So then I modified the board and added more circuitry. So that's where we're at. I wasn't, honestly, to truth be told, planning to do all this on this board. It was just going to be for handhelds, and that's it. But we kind of went beyond that. So in today's video, I'm testing the sound over the radio with this full repeater now. Like I said, I have two radios here hooked up to this interface board as a full repeater. The beauty of, I guess, this is we don't need to use radios that have a DB9 adapter in the back of them. We can use regular mobile radios as long as you know the microphone pinout and it has a speaker out jack in the back of the radio. So that lets you use, that just opened the door for a whole bunch of radios, theoretically. So that's kind of what we're doing here. And to make it even, and I forgot to mention this in my other video, to have this be a full repeater, we don't need a computer. I can have this be a full repeater without a computer hooked up, which is kind of a nice additional feature. The purpose of the computer is, like I said, is for Zello, date and time, weather announcements, repeater ID, stuff like that. So that's kind of the purpose of the interface board. But now it's an interface board and a repeater controller board. Because like I said, we don't need the computer to have this be a repeater. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. But I want to explain the setup here that I have. I have the top radio is the transmit radio, and that's programmed to the transmit frequency I want to use. I have a mic cable plugged in, as you can see, that goes to the interface board. The bottom radio is a receive radio that's programmed to the frequency that I want to use for receive. You can't really see it, but there is a cable right here that's speaker out that's hooked up to the interface board. I do have a duplex sitting down below. For this particular test, I don't need a duplexer, but it's part of my rack, so that's why I have it. This is on a dummy load. So this radio is programmed to this repeater setup. This radio is also programmed to this repeater setup. I also have Zello and all this. I don't have the sound hooked up for Zello yet. I just got done working on the sound for the repeater part over the radios only for this. That's what the video I'm doing today. So I believe that is, hopefully I explained this good enough. Now, before I do this quick test, I'd like to mention I've been asked about, well, is there a date? Do you know a date where you may have this available? And unfortunately, no, I don't. And the reason being is because, as you have noticed, I'm building this in stages. And every time I do a stage, I have to double check the existing circuitry to make sure that still is working properly. Everything's working the way I want it to work. And let me emphasize that. I have a certain idea in my head how I want this circuit to work. And if it does not work the way I want it, then either I don't make the circuit available or I have to remove some of the additional functions of the board. Now, what I mean by the way I want it to work, one of the criterias that I have for myself is I don't want this to have a whole bunch of adjustments. I want it simple. You flip a switch, you turn, you turn a knob or with a screwdriver or whatever, boom, you're done. I want it simple. I don't want to have it so that you got to flip a whole bunch of switches and then you got to do this and do that. So if I can't add these functions together and make them work, that's one of the criteria I myself want it to do, then I will have to remove a function or do something different. So that's the reason why I can't give you a date or an exact time on this. Now, like I said, I'm testing the audio function of the repeater setup over the radios now, and that's so far so good, but I still have to build the audio circuit for the Zello. I still have to rehook up the handheld to make sure that still works properly and make sure the sound on that works properly. Then I still have to hook up one mobile radio like I did in that one video and make sure that sound is still working properly and it's still working properly over Zello. So I still have 3 or 4 steps yet before I can fully test this. And once I get to that point, if everything goes well, then I got to do a test. I got to test this. I got to leave it hooked up. I got to key it up. I got to do date and time. Make sure that key up. I got to really work it hard to make sure it tests out okay. As I'm testing it, I have to write up documentation on how to set this board up. I got to make videos. I got to do this. I got to do that. So what I'm trying to say is, that's obviously the reason why I can't give you an exact date. I wish I could. And I remember, I'm doing this in between normal life stuff. So I can't work on this 24/7, unfortunately. So I'm hoping that kind of answers that question. So here's what we're going to do. I am wearing a headset as I make this video. The problem is when I wear a headset and I key up a radio, it cuts off my microphone while I'm trying to make the video. So I'm going to take the headset off. I'm going to put it by the handheld, and I'm going to key up this handheld, and you're going to hear how this repeater sounds coming over the handheld. Now, this ain't really the best way to do this, but this is how I'm going to do it. Now, when I take off my headset, there might be buzzing and humming, and that's just because that's just my headset. So kind of bear with me. I'm hoping this will work fairly decent. So also, too, obviously, I'm really too close. There may be a little bit of feedback, but you'll get the point, I hope. So that's what I'm going to do first. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to put the headset back on, and I'm going to key up a radio again, and we're going to check Zello to make sure that's still keyed up. Then I'm going to unhook the interface board from the computer, and I'm going to show you that it still works as a repeater without no computer. So let's go ahead. I'm going to take off the headset now I have, and I'm going to set this over here as best as I can here to this microphone. Hopefully this will work. I don't know. I'm going to grab the handheld here, and I'm going to key up, and I'm going to talk. Now remember, these handhelds are programmed to this repeater. This is a repeater now.
Radio check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'll kind of show you that. As I key up this, you'll see all this key up. The red light there, green light there for receive, and then you'll hear the handheld.
Radio check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now again, no VOX, no DB9 on the radio. Theoretically, this I should be able to turn any mobile radio into a repeater as long as I can plug in a microphone cable or a cable and the radio has speaker out. And of course you need to know the pinouts on the microphone, but that's not that big a deal. I'll do a video on that eventually. So there you have it. So that's that. So now let me get my headset. I don't even know if you heard what I said there a second ago. I forgot I didn't have my headset on. Now let's get the headset. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that Zello is still keyed up. I don't have sound hooked up to the computer, but I want to key up this radio and make sure Zello still keys up. And the cuckoo bird's going behind the shutter. Everything, you might be able to hear the radio in the background. Radio check. I hopefully didn't cut off my microphone that I'm using to record that. But at any rate, so it's still keying up. So that's good news. So my circuitry I added for the sound is not interfering with Zello from what it looks like at this moment. Now, I'm going to unhook the computer and show you that we don't need a computer to have this be a full repeater. Okay, no computer whatsoever. We're going to key this up. You're going to see the radio's key up. I'm going to take the headset off again. We're going to put it by the handheld over there. Let's key this up.
Radio check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And hopefully you saw that. No computer. I still have a full repeater. I don't need a computer. I don't need a computer to make this be a repeater. We're only using the computer for the Zello, date and time, weather announcements, repeater ID. That's the purpose of the computer and doing this. Also, I like to mention, I'm using a mini PC as a computer. You probably can't see that, but that's my mini PC right there. Little box. That's all I'm using. Running Windows 11, I think. That's what I'm using. So, it's working great with a mini PC. So, like I said, I still have to do the sound circuitry for Zello. We got to test that with the repeater setup. Then I got to hook up the handheld, make sure that works with Zello. Then I got to hook up one mobile radio, make sure that works with Zello. Then we can go ahead and do some testing of this. So that's what we have to do. While it's testing, I got to write up documentation. And then if all goes well, you know, I'll get some boards made up and we will be on the way. So, but like I said, it's going to take a little bit of time, so you just got to be patient. The good news is, as I make progress, I'm hoping to keep making videos kind of showing, okay, today we did this, today we did that, today we did this. So you kind of get to see where I'm at. So that's kind of the purpose of this video, obviously, is you get to see where I'm at. So I got the sound working over the radios in repeater mode. So that's checked off the list. And so that's, you know, I'm going to try to keep making videos as I slowly start to get things done. And and that will kind of keep you updated on what's going on. So that's kind of the purpose of me doing these videos. At any rate, so I hope this answers some questions. If you have any questions or comments, please post them down below. Please subscribe. Thank you and have a good day.